Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tarot with Titania reading of the week for February 6th to the 13th, 2026. And welcome, new and old. It's great to have you here and to add your energy to mine as we co-create this reading of the week. You are not passive. You are a part of this. So let's set the tone for the reading and engage with pulling through what we most need right now for the week ahead. I invite you to close your eyes and let's take 3 nice deep breaths together, please. Pulling our energy into sync across time and space. And with that third exhale, I invite you to imagine a tree root coming down out of the base of your spine, going down deep into Mother Earth and grounding you here and now in this present moment. Knowing that this tree root is not only anchoring you and grounding you, but it is also providing you with a conduit through which anything that no longer serves you can easily pass down into Mother Earth and become compost for your new good growth. Creator, this is your daughter Titania, and I am here with all of your children now and in the future, co-creating this reading of the week for February 6th to the 13th, 2026. My intention is to be a clear channel for the information we most need to receive right now, and to provide this in a manner that we will easily and effortlessly hear, understand, and integrate for our personal and our collective highest and greatest good. I invite my higher self and the higher selves of all those listening, as well as an overlighting angel of communication, to be present and facilitate this exchange, ensuring that it happens in the highest and best way possible, and that we cover all that is in our personal and our collective heart and mind at this time to our satisfaction in this window that we have together here today. I'd also like to invite the 4 archangels to come and hold the 4 directions around us, creating a sacred container of clarity, of wisdom, of healing, of insight, of peace, of transformation, of effortlessness, of wholeness, of deep wellness. I invite the overlighting angels of healing to be present here as well. I invite Raphael to hold the east, Michael to hold the south, Gabriel to hold the west, and Uriel to hold the north. Thank you for coming. I'd also like to acknowledge the overlighting Deva of Heart's home, this land where I have the blessed fortune to live. Thank you for all your ongoing support and love and your assistance in these readings. All right, my friends, with that, let's get into the reading, shall we? All right, Creator, what is it that's most helpful for us to know this week, February 6th to the 13th, 2026. We just had a full moon in Leo, and I believe that was an eclipse as well. Not here necessarily, but elsewhere, a lunar eclipse. Lots of astrology going on, as you know. If you haven't been following that, well, I invite you to check out Pam Gregory. She's one of my favorites. And there are other channels for astrology on YouTube. And find one that speaks to you. Okay, Creator, what do we need to know for this reading of the week? For our personal and our collective highest and greatest good. These beautiful sarcoca are in bloom in my neighborhood. And winter box, they're called, or sweet box, and they're very fragrant. So I brought a piece home to join in the reading with us. All right, my friends, let's begin. We are starting with the Hierophant, or the inner teacher. This is key 5 from the major arcana. This has to do with being a major arcana, soul growth, or evolution, or reason for being here, bigger picture cards. The past is the position where we come from, and it's relevant to where we are going to. So this card, this inner teacher, right relationship with the inner teacher, having a meditation practice, an inward practice, something that connects us to the wisdom beyond our own, the broader, wiser part of us. That is something that we really want to be cultivating at this time, to keep us centered, to keep us grounded, to keep us from being knocked off our centers. There is a lot out there ready, willing, and able to knock us off our centers if we are not cultivating our inner peace, our inner centeredness, and our inner congruence. The Hierophant is reminding us of the importance of this. It's up to us. So leaning into the practices we've been developing all these years. And if you're new to a practice, welcome. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing to learn to ground and go inward. From grounding the breath, All traditions hold the breath as being sacred, the inspiration of life. We bring the breath into the body to connect us into the body. The body is sacred. We chose to occupy these beautiful vessels while we're in human form, and they are not an afterthought. They are a very, very important part of the human experience. We're not here to escape them. We're not here to diminish them. We're here to be witness and present and experiential in our time as a human being. So through the breath, we come home to ourselves. We come home to the body. And it's much, much easier for those who are new to this to meditate and center if you've moved your body. That's a really big tip. It's a good one. Go for a nice brisk walk, then sit in meditation. Do some yoga, then do shavasana and do your meditation. It's easier to access that broader, wiser state when our energy has been circulated, the energy blocks have been moved, and we're able to be just deeply, deeply present. And then focus on your breath. Breath going in, breath going out. And just notice. Don't attach to anything. Just notice. Be the observer of your experience without being attached to anything. And when you attach, notice. Take a deep breath and release it. And keep going back to that observer place. And you'll see, you'll get the hang of it. There's so many of us holding this space on the planet at this time. It's easier than ever than it was to achieve connection to that broader, wiser state, that grounded state. But as I said, this is important for this week and beyond, I would say. The next little while, we got a lot going on Earth. Okay. And our present card is the card of generosity. Pentacles is the earth element. The earth element has to do with these beautiful bodies, why we're here on this planet, and all the stuff that makes it amazing to be human. From community and bodies and food and friendships and work and money and creating, doing things in the three-dimensional. That's all the earth element. And the card of generosity, the Six of Pentacles, is all about cultivating that friendly, wiser, more spacious state. When we're generous with ourselves, we take care of ourselves in right relationship with what we need, our energy is better, we're better able to flow in our lives, we have more resilience and adaptability. When we're generous with ourselves, then our cup is full and we can overflow into the cups of others. And then there's right relationship with others, right generosity with others. We can't give when we're empty. Then we go into resentment, then we go into a tailspin, then we get sick, then we get miserable. It's not worth it. Start by filling your cup, and then when your cup is full, we can turn to the others and fill each other's cups with effortless grace, because that's our flow state as agents of the divine will and the divine force. When we create fullness within ourselves through right relationship, and this of course is very important because it helps us to do that properly. When we have right relationship with the broader, wiser part of us, the inner teacher, we can then cultivate this generosity with ourselves and with others, and then we know our boundaries, we know our limits, we know what's appropriate because we're paying attention. We have signals that tell us when we are on target and when we're falling off the target. So that inner teacher piece, connection to the source within, is very, very important because it fills our cups and it helps us to be aware of what we need to do to take care of these beautiful bodies. Because if they're not healthy, happy, and well, we're not going to be very resilient in the bigger world. The near future, we're moving into the energy of the King of Swords, the masculine energy of the suit of swords, which is air. This is ideas and action. When we have new ideas, when we have clarity of thought, we have directness of purpose. We know what we're doing physically when we know what we're doing mentally. And swords, they're about keeping it clean and clear. This isn't an emotional state. This isn't a heart. This is an air sign. This is practical. This is linear. This is functional. This is responsible. It's like, yep, this is what needs to be done. And then this is what needs to be done. And this comes after that. And this is the plan of action that we're going to take. That's the energy that we're moving into. This isn't about wallowing in our emotions or feeling our way even. This is about being very practical. This is the mind. And The mind is a powerful and wonderful tool. It's not the only aspect of ourselves, so we don't want to let it run the show, but there are times when it needs to be more forefront, more at the front, leading the charge. And then there's times when it's the heart that needs to lead, or it's the body that we need to be paying attention to, or then it's the spirit. We have all of these in our field. They're all aspects of who we are. One is not more than the others. They're all part of the same field of life that is us. But what this is telling us is we're going in to a time when we're going to need to be very discerning mentally. And from that discernment, we will take right action. And discernment has to do with us being clear about what we need. Who are we? What is important to us? I cannot know what is important to you. I can guess. I can know you well and love you dearly and hope that I've got it right. But really, I don't really know. I can only know what's true in myself. And as a parent, we do our best to know what that is for our children. But this is about us each taking our journey and doing it our way. And we can help each other by doing our part really well, lining up with ourselves, being a good role model. Then others can find their own way with themselves and giving people space and permission to be themselves, because that's important too. We're not always going to get it right, and we're not always going to get it done. That's the truth about being human. And when we're in relationship with others, understanding that they're just as human as we are, and they're going to fall down and make mistakes. And so creating some space around it so we're not taking things personally. That will help a great deal in keeping relationships harmonious at this time, because there's just so much going on. It can be off-kilter making, and that can be difficult on our relationships. So keeping it practical. Don't take it personally. No, it's just the nature of things right now. And keep it clean. That's another piece with the swords. All right, and the foundation card, why we're having the reading this week, is the Princess of Pentacles. And princesses in my decks, or princes in other decks, or pages, in other decks. And that is the energy of new life, of new beginnings. It can represent a baby. It can represent a new venture. It can be a new business. Pentacles has to do with the material world. Once again, that which has to do with the body. So new beginnings on the material level. And I would say that that's pretty bang on. We are going through changes right now that are impacting our material world. They're impacting the other levels too. But for most of us, the discomfort perhaps is going to be more sharply felt here in the body. We came here to have these bodies and to have this experience. And I'm not saying that you're going to suffer. Really, please don't misunderstand me. But it does mean these new beginnings might make it different. Well, might make it. It will make it different. It changes what happens with new beginnings. And change is not always comfortable. But it is one of the things that is constant in the universe. And so how do we stay resilient? We go inward. We have a regular practice of touching in with the broader, wiser part of us, the divine source within. And we lean into it, and we become comfortable with it, and we learn how to hear it, and we build our lives from this core. We fill our cup. We're generous with ourselves and kind with ourselves. It is generous to ourselves when we have a daily practice of some kind to ground us, connect us, keep us whole, keep us connected. That keeps us resilient. And from that wise, grounded, centered place, we are discerning. We are practical. We are rational. We do have a plan, and we are working that plan, and we don't take things personally, and we are directed. It is the masculine energy here. This is like moving forward very powerfully, very directed, very focused and ambitious. That's possible when we have this in place. And this new beginning will be all the smoother and all the more congruent for us as individuals if we have this in place. We will know how to best navigate these times of change and the new beginnings that we are faced with when we have this in place. Like I said, the body is not secondary. It is prime in this experience, and we need to take it with us, which means we have to take care of it. We have to make sure we're getting our meditation, our hydration, our exercise, our clean diet, and our sleep. These are the low-hanging fruit on that tree of life that we can harvest for ourselves. These are things we can take care of ourselves. And then if there's other things that are more complicated, there are brilliant, brilliant practitioners in the world who have phenomenal tools there to help us access even more health and well-being and resilience and adaptability. Because a healthy body is a healthy mind, is a healthy heart, is a healthy spirit. It's all connected. We cannot neglect the body and expect the other things to function well. Good food is key to having clarity of thought. Good digestion also helps with clarity of thought and clarity of emotions. There's been all kinds of interesting things I've been reading lately about how constipation affects the mental state. Obviously, when you stop to think about it, but it clogs. If we have that clogging happening in the body, and then there's no free flow, then there's auto-intoxication that happens because the toxins and the things that our body is trying to remove are backed up and we're recirculating them in our systems. Of course, it's going to make for a toxic existence. This is why digestion is so important. This is why it's so important to have lots of fiber. This is why it's so important to eat probiotic foods. And I could go on it, but you get the gist, right? So the body, we have this body axis here, very strong. Where's your body at? How is your digestion doing? How is your sleep? How is your hydration? Are you getting enough hydration? How's your elimination? Meditation? Are you having fun? Are you giving that body a chance to get out and circulate and have a good time? Very, very important. Okay, so we get the gist this week. We have a lot of really important staying grounded and centered so that we can be in our bodies in a good way. We can flow this beautiful, generous energy. And as a result of that, we are clear and clean and moving forward and doing things and taking action in the world in the ways we need to so that we can best take advantage of these new beginnings, these new opportunities in right relationship to ourselves, to each other, and to this beautiful planet because we're grounded in the divine. I think that's pretty clear. Let's call upon our card to grow on, shall we? All right, Creator. Thank you for that. I'm grateful for the information we are receiving and our ability to absorb it and make right use of it in service to our highest and greatest good. Thank you very much. And so, as we wrap up this reading, what is our card to grow on, please, as we head into the coming week? What can we hold in our hearts, minds, so that we navigate the coming week with ease and grace in beautiful ways for all of our highest and greatest good, please? Aha! The card of illusion, the Seven of Hearts. So this, and we see we have this angel is sort of overwhelmed by all this shapes, all this kind of stuff outside of themselves going on. And that's what this is all about. Where are we being pulled off our center, right? We come back to ourselves with the breath. We come back to this present moment, into this body right here, right now, where we know our yes and we know our no. The body is the compass. When we're home in our bodies, we can better adjust and adapt and understand what's true and what isn't for us. If we are ungrounded, if we are knocked off our centers, we are just going to be in overwhelm. We're going to be just carried by the currents of popular opinion and the media, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to get dragged around, made to feel all kinds of things. And we won't be grounded. We won't be centered. We won't be in that beautiful, resilient, centered, powerful state that really would be great for the whole planet if more of us were in at this time, because there is so much of this going on. So the card to grow on this week, understanding that this is the energetic field that we are moving through at this time. Lots of things poking us to see if we will react. And then if we react, sending more, right? That's the algorithm. Are we letting ourselves be manipulated emotionally, mentally, spiritually? We need to ask ourselves these questions. And if we are, can we take a deep breath, call our consciousness and our power back to this now moment, releasing our attachment to whatever it was we were activated by, come back to this now moment. And it's really important for us to practice this right now, to come back to being the observer, to come back to being the detached watcher, that King of Swords, right? Come back to that clean and clear and centered and resilient space where we are not distracted, but very on point and capable of taking action in the right way. Because we have that clarity of mind and thought, we are not distracted and pulled a million different directions. The best way to do this is to stay present in our own lives. The media will tell us a million different stories in a million different ways, depending on who's sending us the information. It's our computer channels, our media channels, it just goes on and on. Our best way to navigate all of that is to come back into our real world, right here, right now, in my life, because I don't know what's true out there. We don't have any idea if it's true or not true. It could all be AI generated. Maybe some of it is, maybe some of it isn't, but it's all off and outside of our direct realm of experience. And I'm not saying it's not important, because in a way, many of the things that are happening out there are important. We're all connected. And so it's important to kind of have a sense of things. But I found that if something's really important, people will let me know. So I don't necessarily feel like I need to follow the news, because there are people out there who feel like they need to, and they also feel like they need to tell people about it. So, you're covered one way or the other, truly. But just be mindful. How does it affect your heart when the information comes in? Does it make you feel afraid? Do you feel empowered? Do you feel angry? Do you feel powerless? Do you feel upset? Just notice. Get curious. Watch. Through that perspective of the observer, of self and others, we become much more present, much more aware, and from that space, we're far more responsive in a way that is appropriate rather than reactive and led around by our feelings. So just holding that in our consciousness this week as we go into these emotional manipulation, emotional clouds, lack of clarity, lack of discernment. You just, as I said, come back with the breath to the body, to the now. Where are you now? What's next on your list? Stay in that King of Swords state. Be very practical. Keep it clean and clear, keep it lofty, and keep moving forward. Very important. Okay, and you'll do just fine. All right, my friends. And with that, that is our reading of the week. May it serve you and me and all of us in our highest and best way possible. I invite you to close your eyes and let's wrap up this reading. Nice deep breath in. Creator, thank you once again for this opportunity to gather, to make this reading of the week together, to bring our energy into sync, to come home to ourselves so that we are at our best as we move forward into life. I ask that you be with each and every one of us so that we can stay clean and clear and on target, stay in that state of connection to the broader, wiser part of us, flowing our energy generously, taking care of ourselves in the right way so that we're able to share with others, and moving powerfully forward as we navigate this time of change and change. That's the biggest thing I could say. And also that lack of clarity and also things that are not what they appear to be, and the manipulation that's out there trying to get us to react in one way or another and pit us against each other. I just ask that you help us to heal the divide, to transcend the divide, to be wise and observant, kind and gentle, and find the common ground. I want to thank all those who helped to hold this space this week. This reading is at an end. Thank you for being here with me. I hope you have a magnificent week, and I'll look forward to seeing you next Friday. In the meantime, much love and light. Bye for now.